Hi everyone, this is Yana, and you're watching another clean and simple die cutting episode. Today I'm going to create an elegant window card with craft, gold, and purple color combo. I will be working with the following supplies. I have a silhouette die from Spellbinders, and I will be using both of the dies from this Inspire set. Also a ribbon banner set for my sentiment, and this is actually one of my favorite sets from Spellbinders. I keep using it over and over again. I also have a white card base, and this is an A2 top folding card, along with a couple pieces of colored cardstock. I wanted to use yellow at first, but ended up not using it at all, and I substituted it with gold. And I also have purple and white. I was inspired by the color scheme you see here. There's purple, gold, gray, brown, and black. My starting point for this card was this craft cardstock with gold polka dots from crate paper from the Stylebird collection. So I'm going to start working on my card by trimming my craft cardstock to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. I want it to be slightly smaller than my card base. I'm then going to use a ruler and a pencil and find the center on my paper. I'm going to place the ruler diagonally and make a small mark on my paper, and then make another mark going the other way, and make the same marks on my card base. I'm doing this so that I can create a window on my card and have it centered on both card base and the pattern paper, so that when I layer them together, they're going to match perfectly. Now I'm going to grab my die and find the center on the die. I'm going to do this with the help of washi tape, which is also going to secure the die in place while cutting. So I'm going to place the die on the grid of my cutting mat and use the grid lines to help me find the center. I'm just going to place strips of washi tape on my die. So here I have a straight angle, which I can now align with the marks on my card base and my craft cardstock. Now, before I do that, I need to add a few more pencil lines to my paper. I need a horizontal and a vertical line to help me align my die. Now I'm all set and ready to send this through my die cutting machine. I'm going to use my Artisan Explorer die cutting machine from Spellbinders and quickly cut a window in my card base. Now, I am using a regular sandwich for this, but I'm making sure to keep my card base open, as I only want the window cut on the card front, not the front and the back. So I have my first window ready, and I just need to cut the same one in my craft cardstock. Now, a card like this looks kind of cool on its own. You can add some colored cardstock to the inside, stamp a sentiment under the silhouette, and have a super quick and easy card, or maybe even a card set. So here I have my two pieces ready, and I can now move on to embellishing my card. Now, as for the die cut pieces that I have here, I'm going to keep them and use them on a different card later. Next, I'm going to die cut a wreath around the silhouette. And to make sure that I have it centered, I'm going to place the die back on my paper, and it's going to snap right back in. Then I'm going to grab my wreath die and align it on my paper. Use a piece of washi tape and secure it in place. Now I can remove that silhouette die and run this through my die cutting machine. Now I'm going to pop all of these pieces out and remove the wreath from the die. I don't need it, I only need the negative parts around it. So I'm just going to take the wreath out of the die and save it for later. Now I'm going to use my Bitty Blossoms die from Spellbinders and create a few flowers for my card. I'm going to use the medium-sized flower to create 3 flowers for my project. And I'm also going to show you how you can make these spiral flowers and how you can adjust the diameter so you can have slightly smaller and slightly bigger flowers with just one die. So here I have my paper pieces pre-cut. I need to start rolling them. I'm going to start from the outer edge and roll inwards. Notice that I have the front side of my paper facing up, and I'm rolling it inside. Now, I like to use soft cardstock for this, or felt or foam for these flowers. They look super nice when cut out of foam, and very realistic too. But for this card, I'm going to use this textured cardstock from American Crafts. You need to roll your flowers pretty tight at first. You can also use your fingers to form the petals as you like. After you're done rolling, you need to add glue. You can use hot glue gun for this or regular liquid glue. Hot glue gun works better, but I didn't want to wait for it to get hot, so I'm going to use my regular glue. You can make your flowers as loose or as tight as you like. I prefer to let them naturally unroll or unfold and then add glue to the back to secure them in place. Now, to make your flowers slightly smaller, you can cut a few petals off. This really works great when using foam or felt. It doesn't really show as much on paper flowers though. So you can just cut a few petals off and then roll your flowers as usual. While the glue on my flowers is drying, I'm going to die cut a wreath out of dark purple cardstock. I'm going to die cut and also emboss this time. I wasn't doing any embossing on my previously die cut pieces except for the flowers. I did emboss the flower petals. Now, the idea is to have this die cut wreath placed inside the card, in between the other elements, to add a bit more interest and color to the card. As I was working on my project, I decided to add a layer of vellum to my window. So I'm going to adhere a piece of vellum that is slightly larger than my actual die cut piece onto my card base, and I'm using my tape runner to do that. I'm then going to add foam squares around my window to create dimension and to adhere all the other pieces cut out of craft and textured cardstock. I'm adding quite a lot of foam squares as I want to make sure everything is adhered properly. So I'm first going to add the negative silhouette piece, then add some more foam adhesive and add the wreath, and finally I'm going to add even more adhesive squares and add the rest of my craft cardstock. Now it's time to add a sentiment to my card. I'm going to use a die from the ribbon banners set and die cut and also emboss a banner out of vellum. Now, this is a rather thin vellum, so embossing doesn't really quite show, but it's still there. So I'm going to place my banner just like so on my card, under the flowers across the wreath. For my sentiment, I'm going to use this Oh Happy Day stamp set from Avery L, and I'm going to heat emboss For You in gold embossing powder. I want to use gold because I already have these nice gold polka dots on my card, and I felt that I needed to add another element in gold to make my card look better. So I'm first going to use my powder tool and make sure that there's no static on my vellum. Then I'm going to ink my sentiment with clear embossing ink from Tsukinako, stamp it on vellum, add gold embossing powder, and then heat set it with my heat tool. After my banner is done, I'm going to attach it to my card using foam squares. I'm not worried about it showing through as I'm going to place my flowers on top and cover it up. So basically my banner is only going to be attached on one side and hang loose on the other side. Now I also want to add a few gold leaves to my card, and I'm going to show you how I made those in a minute. I'm going to create my own gold metallic paper by embossing a piece of cardstock with gold embossing powder from Hero Arts. And it's the same powder that I used for my sentiment. I'm simply going to press the paper onto my clear embossing ink pad, add embossing powder, and then heat set it. If you get an uneven coverage the first time, you can repeat this and add more embossing powder to your paper. After that, I'm going to use the small leaves from the Jewel Flowers and Flourishes die set from Spellbinders and die cut and emboss a few more leaves. Don't they look cool? I really like the gold shine. I think it looks very elegant too. So I'm now going to adhere them to my card around the flowers. I'm going to tug them underneath the flowers and the wreath. And I'm using just regular glue for this. You can use a clear adhesive dot if you like, or glue as well. Finally, I'm going to add a few enamel dots to my card and complete my project. I hope you enjoyed this video. All the supplies I used to create this card are listed in the video description and on my blog for your convenience. Please be sure to click the like button, drop me a comment, and share this video with your friends. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.